that talk about it. Why? Because the heathens be acting all wild and shit. You know, Israel is supposed to be an upright. That's what Jeshurun means. Jeshurun. That's Yashawan, which means upright, the upright one. But Israel has fallen from that stature and from that status. It's become low, a degenerate. You know, it's been very wicked, sottish children, rebellious, stiff-necked, imputed. You know, brutish. Right. Going back to Isaiah 30:3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. See? So you're gonna be confounded in that day. You're gonna be going to the police stations. You're gonna be calling 911 in that day, and they ain't gonna come and bring you aid, man. Why? Because they're gonna be under heavy going through trouble and persecution. The scriptures talk about that, man. You're gonna be confounded. You're gonna be like, well, why aren't you gonna come help me? They ain't gonna save you in that time. Right. This is in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draw nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power, man. You see? Shall stand in their power. That's what's coming, man. Esau's not going to be able to deliver you when martial law breaks off, man. Even to this very day right now, in the court of law, Jake is always being falsely accused, being unrighteously put in jails and prison. It was a Netflix show that just came out, says it's called When They See Us, man. You had these teenage Negroes that were from over there in New York. They were unrighteously put in prison, man. They suffered. They were coerced into saying, doing something that they never did, and that was done by the so-called white man. And he still does this to this very day, man. When they see us, falsely accuse us. They did it to us throughout all the ancient times, man, with Israel. All the other nations, the heathens, the Hamites, which are the so-called Africans. Not the Negro today that was brought slavery. Not them. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about those Hamites, man. They took part in that too. And the course of their actions shall stand in their hand, and a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. See? And that's what's coming, man. You're going to be very afraid. That's going to be your confusion. because he thought this whole time that the Most High had left the earth. He was no longer dealing with the prophets, where, you know, all the men of the Lord were put to death. The Most High resurrected us, man. We're back. That the valley of dry bones is this, what you're seeing, man. And we got thousands of brothers coming up speaking the same message, telling the Negro Latinos and Native American Indians that we're the true Hebrew Israelites, man. All right, telling you that them fake Jews are not the ones, man. That claim that they're Israel, that call themselves Jewish. That's the hint right there. What is ish? Meaning sort of, not quite. You know, they just stole the traditions and the customs of the Hebrew Israelites of that land, man. They took the names of the Bible and put it on themselves, man. That's it. You know? But that's your confusion, man, because you wanted to trust in the heathen and not in the Most High. You know? You wanted to trust in you know, all the heathens, man. Syria, Assyrians, the Babylonians, you know, but always refused to trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. This is in Hosea chapter 8. This is Hosea 8 and 7. For they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. It hath no stock. The bud shall yield no meal. If so be it yield, the strangers shall swallow it up. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. For they have gone up to Assyria, a wild ass alone by himself. Ephraim hath hired lovers. See? You hired these other nations, man. You said these nations be for us. You know? Just like in the time of Yahweh Shai, they said, we have no king but Caesar, man. It says, yea, though they have hired among the nations, now will I gather them, and they shall sorrow a little for the burden of the king of princes. Because Ephraim hath made many altars to sin, altars shall be unto him to sin. I have written to him the great things of my law, but they were counted as a strange thing. Why? Because they were a degenerate plant, man. Wicked. You know, evil. They sacrifice flesh for the sacrifices of mine offerings, and eat it, but the Lord accepted them not. Now will he remember their iniquity and visit their sins. They shall return to Egypt. You see, for Israel hath forgotten his maker and builded temples, and Judah hath multiplied fenced cities. But I will send a fire upon his cities, and it shall devour the palaces thereof, man. Why? Because they trusted in the other nations, man. They rejected the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. They refused to hear. They refused to hearken unto the voice of the prophets. You know? It says, rejoice not, O Israel. This is Hosea 9 and 1. Rejoice not, O Israel, for joy as other people. For thou hast gone a horn from thy power. Thou hast loved a reward upon every cornflower, man. The floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat unclean things in Assyria. See? Being slaves, man. Being held captive. Okay? They're going to be kicked out of their land. It says, they shall not offer wine offerings to the Lord, neither shall they be pleasing unto him. Their sacrifice shall be unto them as the bread of mourners. All that eat thereof shall be polluted. For their bread, for their soul shall not come into the house of the Lord. What will you do in the solemn day and the day of the feast of the Lord? For lo, they are gone because of destruction. Egypt shall gather them up. Memphis shall bury them. The pleasant places for their silver nettles shall possess them. Thorns shall be their tabernacles. See? So they went from the Lord being with them, them ruling their people, the northern and southern kingdom, down to the very bottom, man. Because of their rebellious heart, their stubbornness. Because there was a lot that went down between that time of the last kings. Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin, right? Jehoiakim, I believe that's how they say their names. And then you had Nebuchadnezzar. Then you had the Necro Pharaoh coming in around that time. They were fighting, man. You had different the tribes taking parts with different heathens, man. Like Ephraim teamed up with Syria. I believe. Let's go over here to the book of Isaiah. They never wanted the Holy One to govern them, to rule them, man, to guide them in the way. They're always just rejecting him. This is let's see where it is. This is Isaiah 7:1. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, the king of Syria, and Becca, and the son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim, and his heart was moved in the heart of his people, as the trees of wood are moved with the wind. You see? So you had these, different tribes teaming up with these different nations, and they were all going to war, man. Which ultimately Yahushua had the Assyrians take the northern kingdom into captivity, and the Babylonians take the southern kingdom into captivity. Right? The Assyrians took the northern tribes, and then Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, took the southern kingdom, which was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay? So it says, and Hosea, what was that? Right, Hosea 9:7. The days of visitation are come, the days of recompense are come. Israel shall know it. The prophet is a fool. The spiritual man is mad for the multitude of thy iniquity and the great hatred. You see? So this applies to this day, to this very day right now, man. You're going to have many wars, civil war, race riot, all kinds of things going on. Right? The wars over there in Europe. Right? Third World War is going to be going on. All kinds of shit is going to be going on, man. Nations teaming up with other nations. Right? You got all these other nations teaming up amongst themselves. Being confederate with one another. It says, this is Hosea 12:1. Ephraim feedeth on wind, and followeth after the east wind. He daily increaseth lies and desolation. And they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and oil is a cup carried into Egypt. The Lord hath also a controversy with Judah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways, according to his doings, will he recompense him. You see? Why? Because they're going hand in hand with the other nations, man. You know? Not trusting in Yahweh Shem Shai. So I'm going to finish that one up in Isaiah 30:4. For the princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be in help, nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach. See? I'm going to jump down to verse 7. Isaiah 30:7. For the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still, man. You know? So to put trust in all these different these nations, you know, to deliver you from other enemies is going off, man. You're supposed to trust in Yahweh Shai. You know? You have to trust in Yahweh Shai that he's going to deliver you out of these things, man. It says, verse 8, now go write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. For this is a rebellious people, a lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord, man. You see? They won't hear the law of the Lord. They won't hear by way of the mouth of the prophets, man. You know? Let's go over here to 2 Kings. This is 2 Kings 17:13. It says, yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. See? So you rejected the law by way of the prophets, man. You know, Moses being the Most High's hand, and then you had the Aaron the prophet, man. You rejected them. You know, Moses was a king of power unto Israel before Pharaoh as well. You know. It says, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto his right things, speak unto his smooth things, prophesy deceits. And that's what it is. They love lies, man. You know? That's what Israel is about. Israel is about bullshit. We talk about being real. You know, they want truth. They don't want the truth. They don't want the real, man. When you tell them the truth, they get offended. They don't like you. You know? This is Hosea 4:6. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. And how do you reject knowledge? Because scriptures say you have to be taught by man. So that means you're rejecting the men of the Lord, the messengers, the prophets. And that in itself is going to be a reproach. You know, Most High is going to deal with you because of that as well. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 36, verse 15. And the Lord power of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. You see, so the Most High is merciful, man. He told you, hey man, return from your idols and come to me, man. Put away these foolish things, man. Trust in me. I'll take care of you. I'll give you the good things. I'll give you your flask, your wool, your wine. You know? Like it says in Hosea chapter 2, man. You know? It says, but they mocked the messengers of the Most High and despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of Yahweh arose against his people till there was no remedy. Right? And during that time, it happened under the Babylonians, man. Nebuchadnezzar came through and put them down, man. Ultimately put them down. Burnt their city walls. You know, took Judah into captivity. You know. Meanwhile, you know, the Assyrians had already conquered the northern kingdom and set up other heathens in that land of Samaria, man, in their region of the land over there in Israel, in Jerusalem. Okay? That's what went on, man. All that contributed into your downfall. To lead us into where we're at to this very day right now, man. Why? Because we were going on. We weren't trusting fully in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know? So going back to Isaiah 30 and 11. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease before us, man. And that's talking about Yahweh Shai. Because they all heard about a Messiah coming, man. They all heard about it. The anointed. Yahweh's son. In the book of Proverbs, it speaks about what is his name and what is his son's name, man. Ezra prophesied of Yahweh Shai. Okay? So they knew. They knew he was coming back, man. Book of Isaiah prophesied of Yahweh Shai. You know? It says, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease before us, man. And they ultimately did that, their heart's desire. They actually did that when Yahweh Shai was on the scene. This is Matthew 27 and 24. Oh, I start at verse 22. Pilate said unto them, what shall I do then with Yahweh Shai, which is called Hamashiach? They all say unto him, let him be crucified. And the governor said, why? What evil hath he done? But they cried out the more, saying, let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See you to it. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and our children. You know? Because they moved in envy towards Yahweh Shai, man. He was taken away from them, man. He was destroying everything they had set up in this kingdom, being under the Romans, man. Right? They were comfortable under the Romans, the Pharisees and the scribes. While there was a poor, needy people that were needing deliverance, salvation, man. They weren't down with that shit, man. It's like today, you see these church pastors are all living it up. They got nice homes now, nice cars, they got money, you know. But then you have the needy going into their congregation, their church, giving them money, and they're still in a messed up situation, man. You know, that's what the Most High is coming back for, the poor and the needy, man, the fatherless, the ones that are oppressed. You know, nobody ain't oppressing those damn fake ass preachers and pastors. Everybody's cool with them, man. Getting free meals and, you know, going into high places, getting all kinds of gifts, you know. Meanwhile, like I said, you got Jake still out here struggling, man. You know, still looking for answers. But at the same time, they got that Stockholm syndrome and brainwash, confused, man. That's why the Lord said, trusting in the shadow of Egypt shall be your confusion. You're bugged out, man. You don't know what the hell's going on, man. And when it's right presented to you like it is now, you don't know what to do with it. You walk away, you reject it, you know. You scoff, you mock at it. You say, how can you be a man of the Lord? How do you know the truth? What makes you better than them in the church? Who gives you the authority to judge? Scripture say you can't judge. You know? That's what they said. They said, get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease before us, man. You see? I'm going to go over here into the book of 2nd Ezra and go into that 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 28. For my son Yahushua shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. Right, so that Yahushua, when he came back into the scene, right, during the time in the book of Matthew, right, so that's the time that I was talking about. It said, and those that rejoice with him are the ones that saw his birth and walked with him, man, and accepted him. It says, and these years shall my son Yahushua Mashiach die, and all men that have life, right, all the apostles, all the followers of Yahushua, they're all dead and gone, man. You know, the last one that we know that was left was John the Revelator, right? It was spoken of in the book of Revelation, okay? That was on the island of Patmos. He was a prisoner. 2nd Ezra 7 and 30, and the world shall be turned into the old silence 7 days. And seven represents completion, okay? So there's going to be a silence. All right, it says, like as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. And after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. And who's raising up? Israel, man. Kwam Yasha'Allah. Rise Israel. That's what's happening right now. It tells you that in the book of Daniel chapter 12 too as well. Let's see. Daniel 12 and 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was there since was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. See? You have to be found written in the book of life, man, in order to be delivered. You have to be the elect. 144,000 in that great multitude that follow him, man. Yahushua, the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, and some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. See? Same thing. Going back to 2nd Ezra 7 and 31. And after 7 days, the world that yet awaketh not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt, and the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust those that dwell in silence, and the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. See? So Yahushua, you know, was prophesied of to come, man, and to deliver, to speak unto his people, you know. But then you had 2/3 that wanted him dead. That's why I said, but the son of the Hamashiach, the anointed, shall die, you know. But he resurrected in power. Now he sent it to his Father in heaven, Yahweh, man. Now he's waiting. Now he's waiting to come back. So the scriptures say, fear him that is able to destroy body and soul, or fear not him that is able to destroy the flesh, the body. For he can't destroy the soul, man. Because the spirit goes back to the Father, man. Right? They could destroy the flesh, kill us, but the Most High is going to resurrect you, man. That's what he did to Yahushua. You know? So it was all set up. It was prophesied that Yahushua had to be put to death, man. Right? But still, there's a judgment waiting for doing that, man. You know? And it's going to be a judgment that these 2/3 they're not going to be able to bear. This is Zechariah 13. Shalakia. Zechariah 13 and 6. And one shall say unto him, what are these wounds in thy hands? Then he shall answer, those which I was wounded in the house of my friends. See, and they're talking about Yahweh Shai. Okay? It says, awake, O sword, against my shepherd. Right? And who is the sword? Esau, man. Okay? Scriptures say that the Most High uses men as a sword. Let me bring it out. This is Psalms 17 and 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. For men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. But going back into that one where it says, for men, which is thy hand, right? Which is thy hand. And it says, deliver the wicked, which is thy sword. What's up, man? You ain't got to touch me.
No. God bless you.
Okay,
I'm a minister too.
Okay.
We just got to open this because it's real hot in there, Tata.
Okay.
Yeah, you're preaching the word of God, huh?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, I'm a preacher too. God
Okay.
bless you. My name is Samuel Reese.
Okay.
Reverend Samuel Reese.
Okay.
You going to be on live video?
Oh, man.
No?
Yeah, it's on. The camera's running.
Yeah, but are you like on YouTube? Or...
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Orale.
Yeah.
I'm going to waste this door open, okay?
Okay.
Orale. And I don't take it offensive that I touch you. I didn't make it.
Okay.
Offend you.
All right.
Let me get something there.
All right. So going back to what I was saying. It says Zechariah 13 and 3 or 7. It says, awake, O sword, against my shepherd. And the sword, like I said in Psalm 17, it says, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Because going back when Yahweh Shai was in the scene, he had the Romans put Yahweh Shai to death, man, along with the 2/3 of the Israelites. Okay, that said, let his blood be upon our head, our hands. Okay, which is going off, man. Okay, it says. For men, which is thy hand, because the Most High uses men to cast judgment. Okay? So going back over here to 2nd Esdras chapter 7, verse 34, but judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. You see? So Yahweh Shai, he's the one that destroyed all that stuff, man. Okay? But it was prophesied of Yahweh Shai to go through these things. It says, awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow. Saith the Lord of hosts, smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off in